Gillian Barnett, good morning.
Morning, Gillian.
Good morning.
Sorry for keeping you, and we had a little difficulty, and I know that you're CEO of World Vision Ireland, and maybe you were busy at other things and that before we came back to you, but thank you for joining us.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's a pleasure to be on with you today.
Okay. Now, World Vision joining Global Alliance Board to drive action on hunger and poverty. That is quite a statement. Explain all of that to us.
Oh, yes, no problem. So, World Vision World Vision are going to be sitting on the Board of Champions for the Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty. The Global Alliance was set up in under the leadership of Brazil's G20 presidency in response to the urgent global need to eradicate hunger and extreme poverty. And really what the Alliance is seeking to do is accelerate progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals, specifically the first one, which is no poverty, and the second, which is zero hunger. And how they want to do that is by fostering collaboration across governments, across multilateral institutions, civil society and different philanthropic organisations. And World Vision are going to be sitting on the Board of Champions, and really what that will allow us to do is introduce a more community-based and child-focused perspective into these high-level deliberations.
Now, how are World Vision going to be able to take control, basically, of this whole world hunger program when we see that very little regard is paid to eliminating hunger in a situation like we have in the Middle East presently? So,
yeah, so.
This is dilemma that the whole world is actually facing, and everybody seems to be powerless in able to address it. But everybody sees the hunger that's being exercised there. So
yeah, it's absolutely heartbreaking, isn't it?
It is, yes. And again, this is what people are experiencing, and this is what they're seeing, and this is what is so gut-wrenching for them, that they cannot do anything about it, or nobody seems to be able to do anything about it. But what you're at, and in relation to the Global Alliance, in a sense, is trying to overcome that. But you need to get the buy-in 110% from the political arena to be able to bring it about and say, listen, there's too much hunger in the world. I'm not just signalling out the Middle East as an example of it, but there is hunger in every continent in the world. So it's a bigger problem in a sense. So it needs a more concentrated effort from the Global Alliance to say we have to eliminate hunger.
Yes, no, I absolutely agree with you. I mean, we are in really, really difficult times. So we know that last year over 673 million people faced hunger, which is just unacceptable in a world where there is actually enough food for everyone. And part of what we are doing on this global alliance is ensuring that we are talking at policy level. And the reason that's so important is because it is such a big problem, it's going to need a really big solution. So far in the Global Alliance, we have got over 101 countries. Ireland formally joined in May of this year, which is really fantastic. And we've got over 50 foundations, and there are 29 other international organisations, and also 11 international financial institutions. And whilst it is really important that we address hunger at the need and we provide food when needed, it's actually really important, and part of what the Global Alliance is doing is ensuring that the policies are there and fit for purpose. So the Alliance is really all about strengthening those food and nutrition policies that then provide the social protection and livelihood support of the people who really need it the most. And the reason World Vision are particularly well placed in this alliance is because we have a presence in over 100 countries, and we therefore have people working at the grassroots in these countries and really seeing and understanding what the problems are. And we know that children are usually the most affected. Children are often the most vulnerable in every situation, and certainly the most vulnerable when it comes to food and hunger issues. And so part of why we are so happy now to be on the board of the Alliance, we've been a founding member of the Global Alliance, but to be now on this board of champions is really important, because we're going to be able to bring those child-focused perspectives and young people's views straight from the countries in which they're experiencing it to the policy-making board. And we're really hoping that will make a big difference. And then in the meantime, World Vision are running a campaign called Enough. And as I briefly mentioned before, we already know that there is enough food in the world. Last year we produced over 8 billion tonnes of food, and there is plenty for every girl, every boy, every woman and man on the planet to have food. But every year the world is losing or squandering massive amounts of food. And so it's really important that we address those issues as well.
Again, and I can understand, and I greatly appreciate what your goals are and what you're setting out is in relation to Global Alliance and trying to get movement to eliminate hunger and poverty. But again, I have to come back to the whole area associated with food. And you said there is plenty of food for everybody. But if you just take Ireland alone, what is the biggest outlay that people must make in any particular week for the last while is the cost of food.
Yeah, the costs have risen. And what we're actually seeing around the world is the same basket of food essential items. For example, flour or eggs, or every country will have different ones. But actually, the price of those baskets are hugely distorted depending on where you live. And so they're just very uneven. And we can see then that to feed a family in Ireland is a much lower cost overall in terms of annual earnings as, say, some of the world's most difficult places to be. And we're saying that the cost of those essential food items have risen hugely disproportionately across the world, and that is actually one of the biggest shocks and one of the biggest problems that we are finding. And then, as you already mentioned, we see that actually conflict zones are where the vast majority of the world's hungry live. So World Vision has done some analysis which shows that over 70% of those that we're claiming are hungry live in conflict zones, and that children in those conflict zones are twice as likely to suffer from malnutrition and wasting as other groups of society. So it is a really big problem, and part of the Global Alliance is to again work on those food policies and food security policies to help at those roots and at that level to try and even it out. But it is a difficult problem, and that's why we need to really focus all our efforts on it.
Okay, and again, let's be positive in the whole scenario. Then is how much do we really need to understand to be able to support your organisation and World Vision and agencies such as yours, so that the end result will be the elimination of poverty and hunger? So
I think there are many things that people in Ireland can do. So I can support World Vision. We have a dedicated food support campaign called Enough. We work very closely with the World Food Programme, which gets food into areas that need it very quickly. And there are other organisations also that really focus on this. But I think it's also supporting organisations with their support in terms of enabling them to be part of these big alliances, because no one person or no one entity is ever going to be able to solve anything.
Yes.
And so it's really important that there's the support for the collective nature of what we're doing. And as I say, World Vision are really quite uniquely placed. We are in, as I say, over 100 countries around the world.
Yes.
And so we can see that actually what's needed in one country might not be what's needed in another. Mm. And it's really important then to be part of those big global alliances with a really strong voice, and making sure that the people who are affected are actually the voices that people are hearing, and not just what we think people want. We want to actually hear from the people who are affected. So just, I think, supporting organisations such as World Vision make a big difference, because it helps strengthen our voice in these alliances, and it also helps them with the practical things of actually getting food to people where they're needed the most.
Okay. Now, how can people contact the organisation to support or become interested in it, and whatever else they may want to do in order to support the organisation?
So the easiest way is actually to go onto our website, which is www.worldvision.ie, and you can look there, or you can email us at partnerships@worldvision.ie with any question you have, and then one of our lovely team will get back to you. But have a look online, and you'll be able to see all the different campaigns that we have, and particularly look at our food campaign and our nut campaign, and you'll be able to see there how it's got lots of information about what we're doing in that campaign, where the money's going, and the impact that it's already beginning to have.
Okay, very good. Listen, thank you very, very much for being part of the discussion in relation to hunger and poverty. And you've outlined it extremely well. And again, people need to, and I think the response really has to come from the people themselves to say, listen, stop this madness. We've got to do better than this, and we got to support organisations that give a clear vision on how we're going to address it and be successful at the elimination of it. Thank you very much indeed for being part of it, Gillian.
Thank you, Gillian.
We wish you lots of success.
Thank you very much for having us on. Thank you.